Day 15, the final day of Roland-Garros. The sun is breaking through the clouds. It's pretty warm and the stage is set for the men's final. We have a history-chasing Novak Djokovic against a maiden Grand Slam chasing Casper Ruud. I'm delighted to be looking ahead to it in the company of a two-time Roland-Garros finalist, former world number 2, Alex Corretja. Alex, it's lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much, Gigi. It's a pleasure for me. I'm so happy to be here. Actually, nice view from here. Yeah. A little bit like, a little bit more windy than downstairs, I would say.
Yeah, no, it's very windy up here. And for you, Day 15, it's the final day of what has been, from what I've seen, an enjoyable but very busy 2 weeks.
Yes, it's been very busy, but very grateful, you know, to be here, just being part of the Eurosport team, also doing encore interviews with the FFT. For me, it's been a pleasure, you know, and also a little bit of a responsibility, I have to say, because, you know, you like to go out there and try to do something interesting for the crowd, something interesting for the players, but I was having so much fun. So these 15 days, they've been like amazing for me.
Right, we're going to break down the final. We're going to look at the players individually, and I'd like to start with Novak Djokovic. Now, he arrived on site at exactly 3 minutes past 11 this morning.
Okay.
He's used to these occasions.
Yes.
This is something he's done now. It'll be his 34th time. But from your experience, how different is a Grand Slam final morning? Can you treat it like just another day, another match?
I think they do pretty much because they're used to it, and for them it's pretty much like, it's not like it's a regular match, but at the end of the day you get used to play big finals. You know, I didn't play that many major finals, but the other finals I played, even for me, like to play a Master 1000 final or the ATP finals or the Davis Cup finals, you know, at the end you have the experience and you know that you get through it from a tough moment. So imagine for Novak, you know, he's the master for that with Rafa and, let's say, of course, Roger, you know. So even when you have nerves, you just go out there, you just chill on the treadmill, you know, and just try to breathe. It's very important to breathe and also to take all the air from your stomach, I would say. So that's why he's trying to sweat also.
And we have to remember there's history on the line for Novak Djokovic.
Yes, and Gigi, I mean, no one knows what's through his mind, because, I mean, it's a tough situation as well, you know. We know that he loves tennis, he has the desire, but at the same time, I mean, he's got like such a big opportunity to become probably the greatest with the numbers on the hand. Maybe he's already, we don't know, but it depends how you look at it. But I think it's a nice moment for him as well, you know, because he needs to try to deal with that.
And I love that son, Stefan. I mean, he's been on the treadmill every day. His father's been here, hasn't he?
If dad does that, I do it too, of course. You know, it's like, it's nice, you know, you have your kid next to you and your family and, of course, your coaches. Here you're talking whatever. Sometimes you talk about the match, sometimes they just talk about maybe Champions League final from last night. You never know. It's a matter of how you see the player, how you feel him, you know. Sometimes it's good because you see like maybe he's tight or maybe he's concentrated, which is different. If you see him concentrated, you just let him go. If you see him tight, you need to go, say something, maybe touch him a little bit and be just close to him.
Casper Ruud, he arrived a little bit earlier, 10:28 for the Norwegian in his second Roland-Garros final, his third Grand Slam final, and he has said ahead of this, I want to play without pressure.
Yes.
I want to be as relaxed as I can. How easy or not is that to do?
Well, as always, you know, easier isn't said than done. But I think for Casper, you know, the fact that he played finals last year here against Rafa, then the major one against Carlos in US Open, you know, might help him. Also, the way Djokovic plays is different than Rafa. You know, I think Rafa's game, I mean, it hurts every opponent. But for Casper, you know, getting to his back and it was tougher. Today, I think he's got the feeling like that he can do it, even if he plays Novak. But you'd rather play Novak Djokovic in the finals of Roland-Garros than probably Wimbledon or Australia or even US Open. So if you have to pick one, even if it's very tough, it has to be Roland-Garros.
And again, the headphones on. Just despite arriving with his team, it's important for them to do what they've always done and just to try and block out as much noise as possible.
Yeah, well, I think it's cool. You go with your headphones, you know, you're listening to music. Sometimes you put like a higher music or pump music or whatever. Sometimes maybe you want to chill. You know, it depends on the moment. Also, you don't need to be very excited like 4 hours before the match because you need to save energy for the real moments, you know. So I think before the match, it's important just to find a balance between like being alert, but at the same time not too stressed out.
And very much for Casper Ruud, he hasn't had the season he would have wanted to have, but he's playing himself into form at just the right time.
Yeah, but you know, as when you become a better player, you don't need to play that many matches before Roland-Garros, even if, you know, the clay court season is very important for him. But he showed that he can play in any court now. So he doesn't really need to care if he didn't get the results he wanted. And when you enter this Roland-Garros venue, you know that something different is going to happen. It's best of 5, and you know that not too many players can beat you out of 5, like it happened to Novak as well. He didn't play like such a great clay court season, but he knew that with the matches he will get better and better.
How relaxed is he looking?
This is super good. He's doing like sort of a meditation probably, you know, less. As I said before, this is like a breathing thing. It's so important. We don't work too much on breathing. And it's huge, because if you don't know how to breathe, you don't know how to deal your emotions. And I think this is like a moment where he's inside him. You know, you don't look from things outside. The most important thing as a tennis player, I think as a human being, is just starting from inside. And from then on, you can go outside. You know, if you pay attention on what's going on outside, you're going to miss what's going on inside your body, inside your soul, inside your heart, you know. And this is very important in such an important day.
I mean, it's making me feel very relaxed. But once he did wake up from his meditation, he had a few... Not a bad person to have a chat with, is it?
Look at this. You came from a meditation and all of a sudden you found John McEnroe next to you, which, yeah, he might not be as calm as you.
Is that one extreme to another?
Maybe, yes. But it also so satisfying to see John talking to him, you know. And he, you know, these legends, they always go and somehow they say something to you that it might stick on your mind for the rest of the match, or probably even your career, you know, because he might say something like, "Oh, watch out, it doesn't happen like it happened to me at 2-0 against Lendl," you know, and he might be leading 2-0, might be like, "Hey, don't relax yourself because John told me," or maybe he goes out there and tell him like, "Listen, it's time to enjoy for you because this is your day." Whatever he says, you can take it.
Now, in terms of how they got to the final for Novak Djokovic, it was winning against Carlos Alcaraz, not just the mental, but also the physical battle.
Yes, I mean, he was absolutely brilliant, you know. He was playing like with a huge intensity from the beginning of the match, from the very first point till the end, and a very tricky match, you know, because when Carlos started struggling, it wasn't easy for Novak, but you still have the tension that you need to win. So even if I'm Spanish, you know, I need to admit that what Novak did, it was huge, because he's 36 years old. He just beat a 20-year-old #1 in the world, which he's someone that he was destroying his opponents in the last previous rounds. So all the credit for Novak, yes.
So it's a really good win for Novak Djokovic to reach his 7th Roland-Garros final. And there'll be plenty more to come from Carlos Alcaraz. For Casper Ruud, talked about him playing himself into form. He's got the 250 Estoril title. He's got the most wins on clay since 2020. And what a performance against Sasha Zverev.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I was actually expecting like a tougher match, I have to say, because Sasha was playing very well, very deep, you know, very strong. I think, I don't know if mentally he was too tired, or maybe he said he had also something on his leg, but the performance from Casper, it was perfect, you know. Casper is so solid, his forehand is high, it is like strong, you know. His backhand is very deep, he's serving very well, and he returns so far back, which is so difficult for the opponents also to find winners against him. So tough opponent to play on clay, and definitely someone that improved so much also his mentality.
So through to a second Roland-Garros final for Casper Ruud. Practicing earlier today, so we're going to start with Novak Djokovic. He was out on court 2, practicing between 12 and 1. And you talked about how Casper Ruud and how deep he's been returning. That is something he is going to be having to nail against Novak Djokovic, whose serving stats for this tournament are incredible.
Yes, I think it's not the same if you play Novak on hard courts, but definitely here on clay, you know, he's going to use his outside serve, like wide serve into the forehand from Casper for sure. Then he might try to go a little bit into the backhand, and from forehand to forehand, I think he's going to try to hit as hard as he can, as he did against Alcaraz, you know. I think Novak knows that he cannot speculate with the situation, because Casper is such a tough opponent, you know. So he knows he will need to suffer. It's not going to be any easy match. It can be long, you know, and I think Novak knows that much better than you, me, or whoever is going to talk about the match.
Because he's been in this situation so often. You can see the crowd that went out to watch the practice. Now, it was really lucky for us that once the practice had finished, we actually got to hear a few words with the 2-time Roland-Garros champion.
It's just another match. Focus on the match to win it, and then we'll talk about history.
You've been in that situation before the final. This one is any special, and how do you think would be the key, and how mentally are you prepared?
It's not a special match. it is a match that I need to win. Take care.
It's very interesting. Novak Djokovic said, he was asked, this is a special match. We've talked about history at the start, and immediately Djokovic was like, it's not a special match, it's just another match. He doesn't need that to be a focus for him.
But imagine if I go to US, this is a special moment, this is a special interview, this is a special situation. Well, you're going to start shaking your microphone, you know, so I think it's better just to keep it as calm as you can. He knows that it's a special occasion, yes, but he's trying to treat it as a normal match, because otherwise he would be absolutely blocked, you know. And look what happened to Carlitos Alcaraz. He put so much pressure and he wanted so badly to play that match against Novak that he ended up cramping, you know, and it's not because his physical condition is not good. So I think for Novak it's normal that he goes and says, this is another match. Even if he wins, he will realize that it was a huge match.
And this is why Casper Ruud said he wants to be as relaxed as possible. Now, he was due to train on the opposite court the same time as Djokovic, but he brought his time forward to 11:15. And in terms of Novak Djokovic, you look at the Casper Ruud game, as he said, he's very steady. He loves these courts, but the backhand will probably be an area that he'll be looking at targeting Djokovic?
A little bit of both. I don't think he's going to stick into the backhand. I think from forehand to forehand, Novak feels like he needs to hit hard. And then backhand, okay, he might play a little bit like cross, because from backhand to backhand, maybe the Serbian feels a little bit more comfortable against the Norwegian. But at the same time, what Novak did very well against Alcaraz was to try to play also backhands down the line, because what Casper does very well, Gigi, is that he likes to go with his inside-out forehand. So if you play it very cross, it's fine. But if you play a little bit into the middle, then you let the opponent to dictate and get the forehand and make you run from side to side. So it's a very tricky one, the cross one, because if you don't play properly cross, then you might struggle with the opponent.
Yeah, then you might get punished. And after Casper Ruud's training session, which finished just as Novak Djokovic was arriving, as you're about to see, we managed to get a few words with the Norwegian.
4 times a year, 4 Sundays a year, there will be a Grand Slam final, so it's not very often this happens. And it's no guarantee that you will be there, so anytime you can wake up on a Sunday and you're playing this match, it's exciting, of course. I had a good night of sleep, had a nice dinner yesterday, and just done all the right things. I know all the things that I can to be ready, and it's going to be a fun one.
A fun one. It's a battle he's never won. It's a 5th meeting, 4-0 Djokovic, 8 straight sets for Novak Djokovic. Do you see anything other than a Novak Djokovic win today?
Well, you need to go step by step, you know, and you never know. I mean, Casper, he's got experience already from last year and the one from US Open. Of course, you feel like Novak has got the control, but this is a different day. This is a different match, you know, you never know. And definitely I feel like Novak knows exactly the way he needs to play. But if I would be Casper Ruud, I would say, okay, you want to beat me today? Play 5 hours, play 6 hours, but don't play too fast. Like in an hour and a half, it's 2 sets to love, because that will be risky for Casper. So I think he needs to go out there like thinking I'm like a wall.
If he does 6 hours, you've got a long spell in the commentary box coming up.
I wish I could spend 6 hours on the court. That would be, on the court and the commentary, because that would mean that we're going to have so much fun. And on top of everything, it's tennis, you know. I don't care if Djokovic wins, if Ruud wins. Where I love is tennis, and whoever wins, it will be good for me too.
Appreciate your time, Alex.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to Alex Corretja. Don't forget, we're with you for one final show. I will be back 30 minutes after the match point. But we're going to leave, and if you are a Casper Ruud fan, you might just want to turn away for a few seconds. A little look at the history between the two. Bye for now.
It's an incredible privilege to be able to make history of the sport that I truly love and that has given me so much. The motivation is very high, as you can imagine.
It feels amazing. You know, I'm proud of myself for being able to pull that off.